Time to keep my channel active by doing another fragrance review before I go to bed. Talking very fast. I'm gonna do Grand Soir because I've talked about doing it. I've said before it's been probably my top complimented fragrance this winter besides Calvin Klein Reveal. So there you go. Already got the topic of compliments out. It's done very well for me, compliment wise. Again, as I've said in other reviews, I'm not really a note monster, but just because there's only so many notes listed in this, and I believe there's a secret note, or at least it feels like there is. I'll talk about the notes. The only notes listed are Spanish labdanum, benzoin, tonka bean, amber, and vanilla. Right now, to go off on a little tangent here about the secret note, I don't know. Maybe there's like a different kind of labdanum, right? A Spanish labdanum. I don't know. Not a note monster. Maybe certain kinds of labdanum smell different. I believe that there is almost something like a lavender note in here. And I have seen other people as well say that they think that there is a lavender note. And again, not that I'm a note monster, but I will believe that. I agree with that. Okay. But maybe there's a different kind of species of lavender as well, because I'm going to call this a funky lavender or a harsh kind of lavender, if there is such a thing, right? Some kind of weird form of it, right? Because this fragrance, I feel, actually does, there's a different aspect to this fragrance depending on the weather, actually, I feel. So during the hot weather, this fragrance does have a much more, I feel the first few hours can be potentially harsh if you put on too much, a little too thick maybe. And that harshness does make it a little bit more sexy and a little bit more delicious and tasty. But again, all at the same time, the first few hours of it could be a little bit too harsh if you put on too much. But during the first few hours in the cold, brisk air of winter, there's actually a freshness in the first few hours, which again, maybe is a secret lavender note if it exists. And I say that because it really brings out another quality to the fragrance. It takes away a lot of the tasty, and it's not quite as sexy with that note, but it's a lot more kind of clean smelling. And I don't think this fragrance smells clean, but I can tell you, when people have come up and complimented me and asked what I've been wearing, I've actually been told that I smell clean. I've been told that I smell like came out of a shower. Whatever. Those kind of compliments, right? I don't think it smells clean like that at all. But proof is in the pudding or the compliments, right? You know what I mean? So I'm like, I've actually gotten compliments about how clean I smell. Pretty weird, right? So anyway, there you go. We got that sort of secret, perhaps lavender note out of the way, right? That being said, what does the fragrance kind of smell like? Once you get past this potentially contrasting, who knows how long, maybe a few hours, last few hours on me, this kind of the idea. You basically get I would kind of describe it as a long lasting dry down of a lot of other fragrances. I would suggest if you are thinking about this fragrance, look at the notes and think about all the fragrances that have these notes at the end of the fragrance, right? Something like that, because that's what it smells like. It smells like a well-performing dry down of other fragrances. Sometimes I even think it smells a little bit like the dry down of Pure Havane. Do you know what I mean? That's one of the fragrances. It smells like a lot of different kinds of dry downs. I'm just saying Pure Havane because that was a fragrance I wore recently, so I was thinking about it. And you could even say, although Styrax is not, again, I'm not a note monster, so I feel so disingenuous when I talk about notes. Kind of makes me feel like stupid and try hard. But amber is kind of like a fake note, I guess, and sometimes they say amber is made out of Styrax. And although no Styrax is actually listed here, and although I don't really think this smells like Styrax, but I'm just going by the vibe that I said it kind of smells like Pure Havana, and Pure Havana Styrax at the base notes. Do you know what I mean? And this kind of almost smells like Pure Havane's dry down, but a very well performing one. Again, and a lot of other fragrances have these kind of like amber, vanilla, tonka bean, kind of dry downs, vanilla. And that's what I think you should expect from this fragrance, besides the first few hours, which during the warm weather could be potentially harsh, maybe even stanky, but that does add a potentially, depending on your perspective, sexiness to it. Or if it's in the winter, a colder thing, it's going to smell a little bit kind of fresh and clean for the first few hours, or again, however long that opening lasts on you. So, but once that goes down, again, you're basically getting a well-performing dry down of a lot of other fragrances. Just look at the notes, and if those are the kind of notes you like that you see in dry downs of certain fragrances, I would say you should probably try this out. Performance wise, like I said, even after a few hours, I've gotten compliments on this from a good scent bubble away from me. Do you know what I mean? So performance wise, not beast mode, but considering what I spray when I wear this, I have I've gotten some good compliments. Even when I thought that it was not maybe performing that well. I mean, people were like, wow, what are you wearing? Yeah, I've gotten a lot of compliments on this. Kind of surprisingly so, but not that I think it smells bad, but I've been a little bit surprised by how many compliments I've gotten. Um, I think it's pretty snuggly, pretty sexy. I'm not totally in love with it, but I would say it's one of the best fragrances I smelled last year for sure. I think it smells better on paper and skin, or no, on paper and clothes than it does on skin because on skin, again, I get the two kind of contrasting elements depending on the weather for the first few hours. But other than that, you know what I mean? I think it's pretty nice and I like snuggly scents, do you know what I mean? But it's a little kind of, you get that kind of thing. Maybe it's too harsh at the beginning. It's not. Maybe it's a little bit too clean at the beginning. It's not, like I said, the winter, it's not going to be too snuggly, I don't think at first, but whatever. Anyway, probably not. I couldn't think of a real good way to describe this fragrance, but I thought I'd talk about it. And it's gotten me a lot of compliments. So I know people like fragrances that get compliments, and this gets my stamp of approval as something that if you like these kind of notes, I would try out. Do you know what I mean? I think it's worth trying out. I think it's a lot of money for what it is, but that's what it is, guys. Keeping my channel active. I actually think I'm going to do some do it fragrances soon because I know that's going to get a lot of views, right? Because people are going to fucking hate me if I do some do it fragrances. Anyway, keeping my channel active. Thanks for watching, guys.